it's overflow. I don't really know what to, cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't know where to go, yeah, my hopeless soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't really know what to, cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't know where to go, yeah, my hopeless soul.
I'm a PhD.
You just keep on talking. I see your dog needs walking. Your folk drive you insane. I know, yeah, that's true. Of course, you ain't the one to blame. Keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking to me. But I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. Sure, I like to listen. It's not like I don't wanna know. It's just that you've been talking to me 3 nights in a row. I think it's time to let go. Forget the past, just lose control. Cause life's too short for yapping. Come on and dance, come give me soul. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking. You keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking, but I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. Oh, you keep on talking to me. You keep on talking.
What's going on? What's going on? We are. Shout out to the CIA. One love to the FBI.
I'm so
Come on. In the chat room, you know how we do this, folks. Put your age, your city, your gender. Let's get it. Don't get it. Four, 3, 2. Big Shirley in the house.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rats, you name it!
How we doing? How we doing? How we doing, people? March 1st. A new month. That's where we're at. It's not a problem. What are we getting into? Do you know?
Nothing can stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way.
The audacity.
I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all.
Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da.
Cause I'll find no matter what, yeah. So set the full night before the moment flies, before it flies. So
Come on, people. Keep the lights up over 50%. We should be over close to 3,000 likes. Get them up. Get them up. Get the. What's going on, people? What's going on? Shout out to all the confident, intelligent, assertive men out there. One love to the feminine, beautiful, inspirational ladies. We need to keep the engagement up over 50%. The likes, the dislikes, it don't matter as long as you hit the button. All right. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I had a great weekend here in Hotlanta. This weekend is coming All-Star Weekend. It promises to be off the chain, even though I likely won't be here. This weekend, there was a lot of stuff going on. Grand opening of Keith and James, the hat folks. Good time. But where are my manners? Candle of the evening. Lalabo. Palo Santo. A little Hollywood. I like it because it's warming, woody, and has a little taste of amber. And fragrance of the evening, Roja Dove. Roja Dove Heritage Perfume. It's number 51. This stuff is so good. If you're ever familiar with Tom Ford Noir de Noir, a nice rose fragrance, that's that plus a deep masculine leather. So here's how we're going to do this. In the chat room, keep it cool, keep it classy, because this is going to be an interesting broadcast. I will say that because we're going into some uncharted water. And I would prefer not to have to stop when I get started. See, if I look down and the engagement isn't over 50%, like right now, it should be close to 34. That's good. That's good. But on the off chance it drops, I will have to play this intermission song. And we don't really want that. So let me do this while I'm thinking about it. Turn off notifications. I need to also turn on Do Not Disturb because you know how that goes. So, how's everybody doing this evening? I hope you're doing well.
I'm so
I wanted to get into something that I think needs a little discussion, but it's true Godfather fashion. We're going to do a little lead up. Does Black America only want Black women speaking the truth? That's a question I need to kind of ponder out. Does America only want women speaking the truth? And what made me think about this is several things. Number one, B. Simone was in the news as of late. For those of you who don't know who B. Simone is, she's an influencer, comedian, and several other things. And she was in the news over the summer, fall, for making a comment about how she really didn't want a 9-to-5 kind of guy. And she got pretty much ran through the ringer on this side of YouTube, for basically insulting 9-to-5 guys. I don't know what's going on with this sound. We're going to keep it going. Okay. And, I made my video responding to that, and it was actually probably one of my better performing videos. And what she was really kind of doing was responding to a theme of women saying regular guys, average everyday guys who have to go do things in a 9-to-5 or right kind of way or whatever, just don't fit her mindset. And that's something that, many people take offense to because, look, you're telling basically 70-80% of men out here that they ain't on your level off rip because they're choosing to be, the solid citizens they are. But last couple of weeks, she actually made a video and where she did almost a complete 180. And she was telling women that y'all got a lot of nerve wanting men to be at a certain level while you're not there. And I find it kind of interesting because when I was looking at the comment section, a lot of people's like, sounds like she's been listening to Kevin Samuels. And I don't know. I've never seen her comment on a video, but I will take it as this. I'm quite sure she's likely heard of this side of YouTube. And if it's actually helped her round out her view on this whole thing, then that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And see, women are allowed that latitude to say something inflammatory in public, get a little criticism, but they're allowed in the same calendar year, to do a complete 180. Now, there were some people who gave her a hard way to go, but in general, it was pretty dadgum well received. And I thought about it. I'm like, so it's all right for B. Simone, but when a man says those very same things, he's a menace. Now, why all that come together? Well, as I was looking over this weekend, I want to pop some things up on. I need you guys to pay attention to some things I'm about to pop up. Pay attention to the screen. George Orwell wrote a book called 1984. The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. Think about that, gentlemen, ladies as well. What are some of the main critics and detractors of things that guys like myself tend to say? It's not that you're wrong. It's never about the argument. It's the whole notion that you had the nerve or the audacity to speak the truth. The observable, visual, facts, data, and statistics, just what everybody else can see. And everybody else can say the truth. But if a man says it in particular, a man in general says it, but if a black man says it, oh, that's a problem. Why? Because of this. In a time of universal deceit, telling truth is a revolutionary act. And I think it's kind of interesting that some of the most strident people who think I'm off my rocker, or the nerve of you, consider themselves to be about the, I don't want to go down that path. I don't consider myself a revolutionary. I just consider myself a guy. And one thing I refuse to allow everybody else in the world to be allowed full human expression. And men can't, in particular, black men can't. So what I've been saying from day one, everybody else is allowed to be a fully human except a black man. Everyone else is allowed to speak fully except a black man. We're used to one-way aggression in our community. It can go from women to men, but if men happen to even say something that's based in the truth, it's aggressive, and you will be destroyed. So let's get into it. What brought us here? Let's be honest, man. Ever since the No Jumper podcast, it was already going before No Jumper, but after No Jumper, when Adam 22 was like, man, I think we changed some lives. That it's doing big numbers, and I'm saying the same things that I've been saying for years. I'm saying the same things that many guys over here have been saying for years, but now the attention is here. Now the eyeballs are here. Now people from all around the world are starting to find out about this. And you know what? That's bothering some folks. It's bothering some folks. Why? Is it because it's not the truth? Nope. It becomes about the man. But we're going to get into it. What brought us here was something that happened last week. Meg Thee Stallion, yes, that Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion actually was on Harper's Bazaar online, and she met with Maxine Waters, the oldest living, longest serving Black female member of the House of Representatives. Maxine Waters. And why did they discuss? What did they talk about? Well, you know what? Let's let them discuss it themselves. Fair use. This is I'm going to take a few excerpts from this video from Harper's Bazaar online.
Much, and I'm pleased to be with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That sort of brings me to my next question, which is, what's the biggest lesson you hope that young Black women can sort of learn from this current moment that we're in?
Well, I think that because Black women have not been respected in ways that will help them to feel good about themselves, and they looked to others, and particularly men, in order to get approval, then, we need to say to Black women, first of all, concentrate on whom you are and what you think and what you care about. And approval does not always have to come from others. Other people's opinions do not make you, and the opinion of men do not determine who you are. And so we want women to have the kind of confidence that we're talking about today that you have, Megan. And so I think if there's anything that we can say to other Black women is that get grounded. Get grounded. You have an opinion, and you're thinking, and you're taking charge of your life rather than have everybody else telling you what you can do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And so building confidence is the most important lesson that we can share.
Now you heard it. Maxine Waters, and the notion of Meg Thee Stallion and Maxine Waters on the audacity of her song WAP. And the first thing brought up was, hey, what can we learn? What can Black women learn from this moment? Get grounded, take charge. Don't rely on men to give you your identity. Say what you want, how you want to say it, such and so forth. Now, you know what? On the surface, that sounds great. Now, if you have not heard the lyrics of that song, I'm not going to even begin to start talking about how provocative those lyrics are. To have a sitting U.S. congressman talking to a young woman saying that, hey, I support your right to say this. I need to ask you guys a question. Where are men able to say these kind of truths? Where are men able to speak their truths? Where are men able to take charge of their own narrative? Where are you, Black men? Where are you able to take charge of your own narrative? Get grounded. Take charge and say what's on your mind. As we get into this, there's some very good points. There's some very good points that I think Maxine Waters brought up. And I think that a lot of men need to hear some of these things. Let's get into the next part.
Wonderful.
So happy to be here.
That brings me also to my next question, which is, how do you build community with other Black women? You know, what I'm seeing right now between the two of you is like, it's like an example of how you build community, which is showing words of affirmation for another person, saying, I see you when I see you. So I'm just wondering how you build those sorts of communities, what sort of actions you do to build community with other Black women.
First of all, we have to take people where they are. And we have to be honest with people about whom we are. And we have to be honest in ways.
Get the likes up. We should be over 6,400 likes. Get them up, get them up, get them up. Hit the like button, or we'll go back to round 2 of it.
I rebuke.
I rebuke it. There we go. 400 more. Hit the like button if you haven't done it. Now understand something. What Maxine Waters is saying is not wrong. What the issue is, I need you to understand how encouraging she is being to a woman who has been involved in a shooting, been arrested, is being drugged in social media and a lot of other words, and a sitting U.S. representative, a congressman with her profile, is coming to help praise this song. Now, and ultimately, what she's talking about is how do women build community together. How do women build community together? You guys need to listen to this part.
That will help people to open up and be honest with you. And so if we put ourselves high on a pedestal somewhere and we're talking about, I'm your role model and you got to do this and you got to act this way and you got to dress this way and you should be doing this, etc. First of all, we're not being honest. And secondly, we have people who address issues in different ways. We have people certainly who have, different thoughts, things that we don't even think about or know about. And we have people who, don't accept, what is considered the tradition. And we have to respect that. And we have to take people where they are.
Oh, Maxine Waters, you're right. We have men who don't accept the tradition that has been since our lifetime and just speaking their truths. You're right. You have to accept them where they are. Just like you're saying about Meg Thee Stallion, that's what you have to do. You have to accept people where they are because everybody's important. Everybody's supposed to have a voice. You're supposed to take charge, ground yourself, and speak. That's what Maxine is telling Meg. And I'm asking you, does America, in general, Black America in particular, only want Black women to speak the truth, their truth, take control, be grounded, control their own art, their own narrative? Because it seems as though we're in a precarious position in this place because when a man starts to say something that's not in line with the current narrative, even if it's backed up by facts, data, statistics, that is an offense worth death. Jordan Peterson experienced 2 years of incessant scandal and being drug up one side, down the other, just for talking about freedom of speech. But you know what? He was run through the ringer. But what about when men assert their First Amendment right? Women support women. And what she's talking about is women supporting women.
And when we approach people, it is not trying to have them believe that somehow you are more pure, you are more knowledgeable, you are more anything. Accept people where they are, and they'll accept you where you are. So when I see someone and I'm talking with them, I'm looking at them and I'm listening to them. I don't care what they have on. I don't care about anything else but what this person is expressing. And I'm not judging them on anything else except what they are sharing with me. And for me, that is a way that you connect with others. That is a way you build community. That is where you get trust. And that is where you come to other people's aid. When people need you, you come to their aid. I'm talking about just having the ability to have someone listen to you, that's hearing what you're saying, or you're sharing a moment. And so that's how you build community. You respect people, you take them where they are, and you come to their aid when they need you.
It's amazing. This woman who's old enough to be her grandmother, or maybe great grandmother, talking about women being on code, supporting each other. I'm going to fast forward a few parts, and then the next part, Megan was talking about being raised as a strong, independent woman and continuing her college education. And then let's get on to the next part. I want to see, there's something in here about the election that I wanted to touch base on.
Where we've seen the incredible organizing power in Black women like Stacey Abrams and Natasha Brown, and the countless other community organizers who worked so hard this election season. And the response has been from some people to assign those Black women even more work and to talk about our potential to save the world, which we know we can do, but it's a very heavy burden. How do we redirect that impulse? And how do we ensure that we're being supported and protected as much as we're being celebrated or asked to help?
One of the most important things for each of us to do is to examine whom we are and to get grounded in whom we are and have our own philosophies about life. And
know who you are, have your own philosophy about life. I couldn't agree with you more, Maxine. Representative Waters, I could not agree with you more. Knowing who you are and having your own philosophy, know why you know and do why you do. And as they go on speaking, They're going to talk about how when you're doing what you're doing and it's being successful, people are going to try to put more work on you, ask you to do things on their behalf, tell you how you should do your platform, your program. And you need to learn how to tell people no. Stick to your guns and stick with your vision, because at the end of the day, if they could do it, they would do it. So I follow what I'm trying to put out here, guys. The audacity that in our community, women are praised for the same thing men are vilified for at all levels. Praised. And I got to ask yourself a question. Now, it would be different if it was always you would expect the typical cast of characters would be women are vilifying men, but no, more often than not, it's men vilifying men. But that's a different subject for a different day. Guys, at the end of the day, the question is, do we only want one truth? Do we only want one side of it? And the question I have to men out there is, what are you going to do about it? Because we're at a time and point in time now to where everything, if you're not standing on this side, you will be destroyed. And you guys have to decide what you want for your world, because the very relationships and the situations and things like that you want to come forward are going to rely on you understanding your why. Stop being driven by others. Let's go into this, because she gave Stacey Abrams some props for her community organizing and doing what she did in the election. And Stacey Abrams, was often said that in the election, they said black women gave the Biden campaign owes its win to black women, and black women can change and save the world. All right.
How do you do that and then not have others expecting of you to do other things and more and more and more? Once you get grounded in whom you are, then you know how much you want to do. You know how much you don't want to do. You are not driven about what others always want you to do. You're driven by what you feel and what you think and what is right, because you.
That's right, Maxine. Men, you have a right to your opinion. You have a right to your voice. You have a First Amendment right to say what you want to say. And you don't have to be driven by others telling you what to do, how to do, and why to do. If Maxine can tell Megan, you can do what you want to do and stop trying to be driven by others, grounded by others. Stop having people try to tell you what to do, how to do it, and actually being able to tell them no, because I know where my thing is. When you become the best version of yourself, there are going to be all kinds of people who are going to try to take credit for your success. And there are going to be people that it shines a bright light on them, and they're going to feel cold in your shadow, not because the opportunity is not there, because they don't want to do the work. And this is when they'll want to start trying to pull you back down to their level, because the light you're casting is too bright for them. They want you back down there where you're comfortable. Nope. You keep on doing what you're supposed to do, because you put the work in. You deserve to be on the other side and getting the celebration. That's a very critical component, man, because everybody else in the world is allowed to make a masterpiece out of the broken pieces of their life. Nobody comes here perfect, complete. And especially in the black community, where so many people claim to be Christians, it's littered throughout the Bible of men who did great, but also had trouble. Everyone else is allowed their experience. I need to ask yourself a question. As a man, do you feel like you are allowed full human expression today? By the world in general, by women, or even by some men? And if not, what are you going to do about it? The world doesn't owe you understanding, and it's not going to change. You're going to have to fight. The fight's on your table, gentlemen. The fight's on the doorstep. You're going to have to fight. Not look for a hero, not look for a savior. Fight for yourself.
You know who you are. You're grounded in such a way that your direction is determined by you. So if Stacy wanted to, go out and register people 24 hours a day and go to all of those counties that she went to, that it knew who I am. This is what I'm doing. And stay on your own. They say, now you've done all of that. Now here's what we want. That's because she's made some decisions about herself. And so when somebody else comes along and they say, now you've done all of that, now here's what we want you to do. She knows how to say yeah or nay. That's not who I am.
How many times have you heard people come over and say, you have a powerful platform. Now you should do this. Now you should do that. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. No. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And if you want that done, do it yourself. Men, you have the right to say no. You have the right to follow your dream, your passion, your purpose. You have the right to become massively successful by your own work. It doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. Everyone else is being told that they can be better than they were, except Black men. Men in general, Black men in particular. You're told if you are not perfect from the womb, you are finished. And I reject that. I reject it. I laugh at it. I'm not going to be held by that convention, and I challenge you to not be held by the same. Everyone else is allowed to become Gary Vaynerchuk, a CD student at best, was allowed to become the man he is today because he put the work in. And in our community, it's only if you only go down this path, if you say things that are in line with what we expect, but if you have the nerve to stand up for something that's different, everyone else can do that, but no, you will be destroyed. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. I think this part is important too, because we're about to get into why Maxine Waters is where she is, talking to Meg Thee Stallion. I also want to say something back because we kind of missed it. She mentioned something in this broadcast about how she loved how Beyonce, being Beyonce, stepped to Meg Thee Stallion, came to Meg Thee Stallion and offered a collaboration. Because Black women are on code. They will not allow you to attack a Black. They will not allow you to say anything about them. They will code up and work together. Men, you better learn how to get on code. Shout out to O.J. Duke Jackson. Even where he is right now in the manosphere, he has put on allowed more men an opportunity to get on through his platform than anybody I've ever met. And we need to start praising men for doing that. Women understand the power of working together. And unfortunately, we tend to have too many people, especially as men, we want to be lone wolves. Nope. So right now, time to make an announcement. I've already talked about what I'm going to be doing this summer. I've already have 2 potential companies lined up to send interns to. That's right. Over the summer, I think that's the direction we're going to go. Instead of scholarship money is cool, but internship, sending a paid salaried intern to a Black business and saying, you go to this part of the world, you go there. You have your Airbnb and a stipend, and your job is to do whatever the business owner says. That's what's happening over here. So talk all you want. How you beat people is you beat them with the work, because the bottom line is you get to choose. Everybody else in the world can do something with themselves. How many times do we hear people like her say, I was born poor, I was born this, I was born that, and I did this and I did that. Well, guess what? You can do it too. But you better realize ain't nobody going to give it to you. And it's going to be harder over here, because not only do you have to deal with the world, sometimes you got to deal with internal stuff. But we have a choice in this matter. We have a choice in this matter. And I will say this, if women can talk about the audacity of WAP, then we should be able to talk about, don't tip your hand, Kevin, don't tip your hand.
Encouragement or to psych yourself up and to sort of get what you need to get done?
Well, first of all, I have to tell you, Megan, I am kind of old school now, because I still listen to some of the old
She's talking about the music she likes, but I want to get to the important thing.
songs that some women in the happened to me at the height of gangster rap. And this is what happened. We had so many people who didn't understand this new genre. And we had so many, mature people who wanted to
Genre.
censor, particularly gangster rap. And
Pay attention. Maxine Waters is talking about back when gangster rap came out, then wanting to censor it. How many of you men are being censored? I look at platforms across YouTube, platforms that keep it as PG as possible, being censored, being pulled. Why? For sharing an unpopular opinion. This is not something that you just roll over with, gentlemen. This is something you need to understand. Without the right to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, you have nothing. Everyone else is afforded these things. And when we play with ours, it's at our own peril.
so I can recall when there was a woman who was actually the Secretary of State, I think, in Pennsylvania, who took up the issue of censoring rap artists. And I'm a real First Amendment person who believes in the right of freedom of speech. And so I took up the cause with Tupac and with Dr. J and with a
Dre.
number of artists to defend them. And so I went before the United States Senate. And at that time, I recorded something that Tupac had done where he talked about his mom. It was so inspiring when he talked about, he basically said, she's a dope fiend, but she's my queen,
That's right. There you go. Gentlemen, are men afforded First Amendment protection? See, it's only one way. Maxine Waters can go before the Senate and play Tupac's line that's been immortalized. Even though you was a crack fiend mama, you still a black queen mama. See, you can be a crack fiend and a queen as a woman. See, again, what I say, everybody can make pieces of their lives. You can be a queen and a crack fiend at the same time. But if you're a man, you better walk on water from the time you're in the womb. Bump that. You make mistakes too. One of the biggest ways we keep black men stuck in this country is we keep them afraid to fail. We can keep black men afraid to fail. You better take the safe path, the path where you keep your head down, because if you fail, you will be mocked, ridiculed, and into submission. French toast that. Everybody else is allowed to fail. And that's why they are successful. Black men fear failure. That's why we are at the French toast bottom. I reject it. Fail in spectacular fashion. Fail loud. Fail in public. Fail trying to be better. And let people say whatever the fuck they want to say. You do you.
And I thought, these people got something to say, and they're saying something that's very important. And so what I do is I listen to the young people around me, and they may tell me something maybe you ought to, pay attention to. And I might listen to something like when they told me I ought to listen to, huh? No. I know about Savage because I did pay attention to that kind of on my own. I paid attention to that because it was a remix, and I liked the idea of getting together with Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was really, really important for a lot of reasons. One was, Beyonce had been around a bit longer and had achieved a certain level of success, but she was not thinking of herself in such a way that she knew more, that she had achieved so much. She came looking for you, and she did this remix, and I thought, now that's what women do. That's what black women do when they're busy with each other. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of paid attention to that.
Black men, we should, until we can get black men here, we got work to do. Because like it or not, that is what black women do. Like it or not, everybody else does this. Beyonce will go looking for her. And we have examples of men going to look for other people, but we got far more examples of men trying to tear each other down. And I'm like, you gotta decide. Either you're going to be on the side of trying to get better, or you're going to be on the side of fear. I see people in the chat room saying, "You're right. I'm so afraid to fail." I'm sorry. You're going to have to move out of your city, take a risk. You cannot stay safe. Safe is for guys who make other men rich. That's what they do. What do we do? Gotta do better, guys. You want better, you better do better. Ain't nobody gonna give it to you. They like you safe. They like you afraid. They like you staying right on code because everyone benefits off of your fear. They don't want you standing up saying that you can be something better. No. You weren't born with nothing. You made a mistake. You had a problem. This happened over here. That happened over there. Remember, you ain't shit. They want to speak to they want to speak to the boy inside of you that never got affirmed by a father, that never got affirmed by a mother. A system has always told you ain't nothing. They want to speak to the fear and insecurity in you to keep you right there. I say no. Everybody else is allowed to become better than they were, and they are celebrated for it, praised for it. So while I may not agree with the song WAP, I at least understand what Maxine Waters is doing. She is affirming the 2 generations down from her, emboldening this woman to let her feel like that she can do whatever. Where do you get that, black men? You got to give it to yourself and you got to give it to others. And when you see somebody doing the opposite, you need to start shutting that shit down.
But then they told me to look at was it what? And I did. Don't worry. And here's what I said. Now that's audacity. That is audacity. And that is the ability for women to take charge of what they want to say. Because as I said, I had paid attention to the young, gangster rap time when, men were in charge. They said whatever they wanted to say. They said whatever they wanted to say about women, what have you. But women, didn't say for a long time what they could say or wanted to say or dared to say. And so I thought that's audacity. So I'm with you. I'm fine. I have no problem with that. The genre as it evolves. Mm-hmm. And from the time that, I've seen all kinds of transitions take place, with some of the younger artists until I'm seeing today that you young women have taken control of your art. And you're
like it or not, guys, you may be disgusted at what she said. You may be like, what? That's not cool. She's praising her for this disgusting stuff. Don't miss the forest for the trees. That's not the point. The point is she is giving her the freedom to say what the French toast she wants to say. You don't have that. You don't. You can't even say what's on your mind for fear of losing your job. You can't say what's on your mind when you go home for Thanksgiving or for Christmas for fear of being ganged up on by all the women in your house. These people are being liberated and told, like it or not, WAP made millions. Your opinion is supposed to be your own. You're supposed to have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, full human expression. And you are afraid of even saying it because just like I know, in our community, we only want it one way. And how is it going to change? Power is not given, it's taken. I also would say this. Don't think just because you come in the chat room and a member, you can say something crazy. You will pay to be a member and I will block you. So if you think you're going to pay to come in and talk shit, you just gave money away. Don't be stupid. Understand something. She is telling her the right thing. Control your art. her music. WAP may not be your music, but she has the right to make it. What do you have the right to do? What are you going to do? Complain about it? Cry about it? The only way you're going to get the right to do something is get out there and fail. Yes, fail. Because that's the only way you're going to get out of the system. The only way you're going to get any better. No one gets rich working for somebody else. If you've been working for somebody else for 10 years and you have the skill sets, why is your boss your boss? Because they took a risk. They put it out there. They risked it. Read the Rudyard Kipling's If you can make one heap of your winnings and risk it all on a turn or pitch and toss and lose and start at your beginnings and not breathe a word about your loss, you don't want to risk it. That's why you will never be anywhere. That's why no one will ever talk about you. No one will ever insult you, but ain't nobody going to remember you either. Troy, the movie Troy, Brad Pitt, when that little boy came back to get him and said, that the Greek you're fighting, he's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him. He said, that's why no one will ever remember your name. Who will remember your name? Who will remember what you did? Or will you make other men famous? We have a tremendous amount of talent, tremendous amount of ability, but what we lack is confidence and assertion. We have the intelligence, the confidence to assert, and the willingness to fail. How do you train a baby elephant? You tie his foot to a post with a thick chain, and he can't get free. And there's a radius, and he walks around in that radius. That elephant gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Sooner or later, he's out. Sooner or later, they tie him with a rope. But guess what? All he has to do is flick his foot, and he rip that part up. But he's a prisoner of his mind. Gangster rap, First Amendment, censorship. Very important concepts, guys.
Defining it in ways that never would be defined by anybody else. And you're willing to have the courage and the nerves and the audacity to say whatever the hell you think. When hardcore rap was not accepted even by Black people and the ministers in the church and, like this woman who was an elected official who drew some other people in. And I won't name the names, but they drew in some very famous singers who joined with them. The Cure.
Oh my gosh. I love it here.
This is really beautiful, really special. Thank you for that. And thank you for putting all of this into context for us, Representative Waters. I mean, I think you just really made it clear, the legacy that Megan is working within, that we all know.
Guy in the comments says she doesn't give a damn about the First Amendment. That is not the point. It doesn't matter. It's a tool. I don't care if she gives a damn about the First Amendment. I give a damn that you can use the First Amendment like she does. So I'm going to say something, another thing to us men. Stop worrying about being right all the time. And win. You can win the argument and lose the game. We'd rather be right on the minutia and lose on the scoreboard. Who cares if she cares about the First Amendment? The point of the matter, she's in a more powerful position than you or I. The fact of the matter, if you look across about the city, state, local, and federal government, it can be a case made that Black women are in more powerful positions than Black men, especially here in Georgia. That's the point. We'll sit around in chat rooms and talk to each other and blah, 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 but they're getting out there getting the shit done like everybody else. While we will sit around and argue and keyboard warrior and tear each other down, they would never do the kind of stuff that you see happening online all the time because they're concerned about winning. Winners win. Whiners sit back and watch the winners. Like it or not, gentlemen, the audacity of Maxine Waters to talk about the audacity of WAP should tell you the audacity of something else. But here's the most important piece.
She's working within. That was just really wonderful. Thank you for that sort of whole reset of understanding the moment that we're in right now. My last question to the both of you is, how do you respond when someone tells you to stay quiet or to not speak up?
Reclaiming my time. Well, I just say that because that turned out to be so much fun. And I got adopted by the millennials based on, confronting the Treasury Secretary who was trying to talk over me and talk around me. But unfortunately or fortunately, I come from a huge family. I had 12 brothers and sisters and a father who left early, a stepfather.
I'm going to cut to it. Reclaiming my time. That's what she became a meme for. And she's going to tell you she came from a lot of kids and she had to speak up. When are you going to start to speak up for yourself? Reclaim my time. She can say reclaim my time, and reclaim my time has become a meme to where she's in the mainstream discussions right now. 82 years old, she's talking to a 25-year-old. Look at the optics. What 82-year-old man is talking to a 25-year-old hip hop artist? That's not there. Reclaim my time. Reclaim our time. Well, here's the thing. We need to reclaim our image, black men. ROI. Reclaim our image. You cannot expect the women to do it for you. You cannot expect your critics to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. And you have to do it for other men who are trying to do the same thing you're doing. Everyone else gets on code. Everyone else gets on code. It's the guys who are trying to do the right thing or this thing. We're doing it by ourselves. No. So the audacity of WAP, I say the audacity of reclaiming our image. You have to have a lot of audacity to try to reclaim an image that was not destroyed by you. But damn it, if you don't do it, who will? Audacity. Noun. Willingness to take bold risks. That's one meaning of audacity. But then you also have another one, rude or disrespectful behavior of impudence. It's funny, when women are audacious, they are praised. When black women are audacious, like Meg Thee Stallion, she gets praised by Maxine Waters. But when a black man like you or I is audacious, we're called rude, disrespectful, or impudent. We're vilified. That's because we don't have ROI. We have not reclaimed our image. You don't start the way you end. You end better than you start. That's the whole point of living. It's how you end. It's not how you begin. It ain't where you were yesterday. It ain't where you were 2 days ago. It's where you end. Every day are you getting better. You make progress while they make memes. You do shit while they talk shit. That's why I'm showing you this, because I'm showing you an 82-year-old woman who a lot of you guys will sit around and talk about, her hair and her being off on the facts and the records. That don't matter to that woman one bit. She don't live in her district and she ain't this. She has power. Power and influence. And she's telling a young woman who's 25 how to be bold to use her power and influence. I don't like winning the argument and losing the game. I'd rather lose the game and I'd rather lose the argument and win the game. And right now we're losing the image game. We're losing a lot of games because we are not on code. Men, America is all right with women speaking the truth, but it's not all right with men speaking the truth. And if you want to get granular in the black community, that's the case. The black community is not all right with black men speaking a truth other than you may be a crack fiend, but you're still a black queen. If that ain't what you're speaking, shut up. We don't want to hear from you. What you going to do about it? I think the audacity. I want to hear from both sides. I think I want to hear from both sides because I want to hear from black men. What are you afraid of? What are you so afraid of? Why is fear keeping you stuck? Because when I talk to black men, when I talk to men, that is generally what I hear from so many men. They're afraid to take risks, afraid to take a chance. Almost needing guarantees before you will do something. That doesn't work in the world, guys. Ladies, What are you afraid of? Because while I can talk about on this from the business side and the financial resource side for men, I can also talk about on the relational side for women. While you guys may have audaciousness going on and getting all the praise like Maxine was giving Meg in a business setting, turn it to relationships, and you can just look at Meg Thee Stallion and juxtapose that. She doesn't move with that audacity in her private life. See, no one's perfect. We all have failings. And it's people who are balanced. Reclaiming your voice, men. Reclaim our image. And the first thing to reclaim your image is you got to reclaim your voice. You cannot reclaim your image until you reclaim your voice. That means you need to become the loudest ones in the room. Not the path of least resistance. Not keeping my head down, not getting along, going along to get along. Bump that. That's not where we're at, gentlemen. It's time for our generations to put some skin in the game. It's time for our generations to put some skin in the game. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. That's what you need to do. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Even if it costs you something, tell the truth. The truth needs to become more the norm so it doesn't sound so weird. The very concept of objective truth is fading from the world. Lies will pass into history. Why do so many women seem to be so confused when they hear what you and I consider to be objective truth? Because it's been lies and deception for so long to where it's like, what you're saying seems radical. What you're saying seems revolutionary. You got to go back over here to the queen and crack fiend thing. What you're saying is no. Yeah, that's right. Because the further society drifts from truth, the more they will hate those that speak it. You think by keeping quiet, people are liking you? No, you're just giving them permission to hate you later on. Because there will come a time where you will want to speak the truth. And if you're one of the people that remains quiet to get along, go along to get along. When I said go home over Thanksgiving and Christmas and engage and have some of these conversations, if you just decide to sit back and watch football because you didn't want to get start no trouble, okay. Your time will come. Understand something. In order to get on, you must get on the camera. You got to get on camera and you have to be on topic. Lighting source needs to be in front of you, no background noise. We're discussing the subject. Prefer you not to be on Bluetooth or on speaker. And some of the things it said, we're afraid of what? Oh, man. Good subject. Ladies, what are you afraid of? Gentlemen, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Let's do it this way. All right. I want to do this real quick and we get into it. This broadcast is a little different because I think this is an important topic. I was of two minds when I saw Maxine Waters say this, but it serves a dual purpose. It serves a dual purpose.
What you gonna do when highlight catch an attitude? Drop to the knees and show gratitude. Kiss my ring, chick. This song right here is for all the fellas out there taking care of business and making that money to provide for their ladies, provide for their family. And to all the ladies out there, the fellas gonna need a little bit more than a big piece of chicken. If you got a good man and you want for nothing, and you wanna keep that man, you need to learn how to check that attitude. You need to show some appreciation. You need to show some respect. Bow to me, kneel for me, kneel for me. Kiss the ring, bow to me, kneel for me, kneel for me. Pay homage to the king in your life. Wisdom and security, I give that. Devotion and honesty, I show that. Passion and love, you feel that? Bow down, girl, you need to show some respect. Obedience and loyalty, I need that. Friendship and trust, I've earned that. Gratitude, appreciation, I deserve that. Bow down, pay homage to the king in your life. Baby girl, what's the deal? Got no time for freaking girl, you're acting mad. Never want for nothing cause I'm paying the bills. Sleeping all day, the house is filthy. No meal. Come on, girl, give me some feedback. Let me know what's good, what's up. Where's your head at? Giving me attitude, not today, girl. Dead that. Strip off them clothes, I'm trying to beat that. Bed that. You're really saying not tonight? Not tonight. My blood is boiling hot, girl. You're getting me tight. Aw, man. To the right. Don't let that door hit your ass when you leave. You talking like you hot, you not. Bugging out. Shorty, I know dime pieces, trust me, you not. I can get a next chick, next one. Like Gucci said, in the next 15 minutes. You ain't special, don't be foolish. Running around town like you rich, no, I'm rich. Without me, you wouldn't even have that. I'm Scrooge McDuck swimming in money. Hold my top hat. Park Avenue lifestyle, you love it. You're acting out of order and now you're gonna lose it. You claim that you're in love with me, in love with me. You wanna be my wifey, be my wifey. That's looking pretty bleak, unlikely. You should've paid homage, girl, you fucked up. Can't do it, no more, I'm done. I'm fed up, game over, clock ran out. Girl, your time's up, get your things, have a nice life. Keep your head up like Shaq and Kobe was a good team. But now we broke up, should've bowed to me, kneel for me, kneel for me. Kiss the ring, bow to me, kneel for me, kneel for me. Pay homage to the king in your life. Wisdom and security, I give that. Devotion and honesty, I show that. Passion and love, you feel that? Bow down, girl, you need to show some respect. Obedience and loyalty.
Yes, the link changes every night.
Friendship and trust,
Or else people would have it from the night before.
appreciation, I deserve that. Bow down, pay homage to the king in your life.
That would be a mess.
Girl, you know you love it. Stop tripping in front and no shame to do it. All I do for you, bow down, kiss that.
As many people try to act silly over here. No, thank you.
Girl, you know you love it. Stop tripping in front and no shame to do it. All I do for you, girl, you know you better kiss that. Bow down, pay homage to the king in your life. Come on, you know you love it. Come on, you know you love it. What you gonna do when highlight catch an attitude? Drop to them knees and show gratitude. Come on, you know you love it. Come on, girl, you know you love it. What you gonna do when highlight catch an attitude? Drop to the knees and show gratitude. Kiss my ring, chick.
No. All right. No, there's too many. It's ladies join the show. Gentlemen, I will take a few calls from guys. When I'm going to ask some hard questions, guys, too, because fear, false evidence appearing wrong, false evidence appearing real. Here we go. Time to cam up. No cam, no, and your no pictures. No, ma'am, if you're not gonna be on camera, you can't be on. That won't work. So if your name is Shanae, that won't work. When I get on, if I don't see your photo, I'm gonna bump you. Okay. Mute all. What the hell? If you disagree, raise your hand. I mean, you need to raise your hand over here. This is I try not to when I do guy shows. So in the chat room, because we have so many folks in the chat room. In order, is anybody currently working in corporate America? Go to the chat room. Nope. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Typically when I do this, because I tend to have a lot of guys that'll just be in the chat room. And I want to have a little bit of semblance of a reasonable conversation. You gotta know where we're coming from. Okay. Let me do this real quick. All right. First person up. Come on, man. All right. Unmute yourself. Hello. How are you? So, appreciate it. What's the fear?
Had an early retirement, so I'm a little bit more free to speak than others. But your topic is right on point. I've been saying for a long time that men are not getting a chance to speak their mind, and it's devastating in our community. It's caused a weakness in the families. It's caused a weakness in our young men. And I've said that you're a national treasure because you're one of the few people to actually speak to it. O'Shea as well. But we're in a situation now in this country where everything that is backwards is now being told or made to look like it's right, and everything that's right is now being looked at as being wrong. So everything is skewed. And if you don't start to speak some normalcy.
Well, you meant okay. You mentioned that. What the heck? You mentioned that you left corporate America. Are you in corporate America, or did you leave corporate America?
No, I left corporate America a long time ago. I'm actually a computer scientist, but now I work for myself.
All right. So so now you work for yourself. Honestly, would you say that you would speak your mind if you were still in corporate America?
Oh, hell no. Right now? Absolutely not. There's just, because, and I can understanding most people's situation, most people that are on the linear income, single income, to say something right now against cancer culture and popular America, the corporate environment right now, you could be doomed.
Right.
We're a black male, especially with a speaker's mind, where you already have to work 3 to 5 times harder than anybody else. And I'm not saying that isn't saying that, I'm just saying as a competitive man, even before a black man first. I'm a competitive
so how do we,
man.
okay, so if that's the case, I agree. But then how is there any change? See,
well,
what I hear from our generation is, and I've said this before, previous generations had to fight wars.
This is true.
They had to do something. We haven't had to do a damn thing.
This is true.
We just had to work. We haven't had to sacrifice anything. This is our war. And we don't, and when my grandfather went to World War II, some of the people didn't come back. And if we can only wait till getting out of corporate America before we speak, that means we weren't safe.
Well, what's interesting in what you just said, this is why we need to have more control over our own economics, because I believe that plays a lot into it as well.
Well,
if you don't control your own, if you don't employ your own, it makes it
well,
so
one
that there is
precedes,
that.
but one precedes the other. One precedes the other. You don't get control of economics without having a unified black men, in my opinion, right now, we will never be able to have our own economics because we don't even control our own media image.
This is true.
So,
and as you can see, that is one of the main things I believe, that symbolism It's what's driving the wedge in the community right now. Interestingly, what you said with Miss Maxwell, Maxine Waters that you put on. I remember back during that time when she was going and speaking and talking about First Amendment rights for people who had a freedom of speech.
Okay, let me say this in the meeting room. If you work in corporate America, raise your hand, because here's the problem. We can wax philosophical about this, but bottom line is there are going to be losses. Black men, we are not going to have a voice in the world or in our community without some losses. That's what it comes down to. It's not going to have it because they're not going to be ideal conditions. And then all these things about, well, we need our own corporate media. We need this and that. That means somebody else needs to come build it. But what I'm talking about is a revolution of one. I mean, like it or not, go back to the founding of this country. When little American colonies took on the world's largest superpower, they had to decide to fight.
This is true.
And are black men ready to? Are we ready to fight? Because the first people got to fight. The first fight we have to have is internal. Well, the first fight we have to have is internal.
This is true.
So, Benjamin Young, let me go ahead and mute you, because I appreciate what you're saying, but we got to be willing to put some skin in the game. Now, I will tell you this: anybody who knows me, when I was in corporate America, I still spoke my mind. That's why I knew I had to get the hell out. Hello? I'm good. So you're in corporate America right now? All right. So you heard what we were just saying, that what do you want to come in on this? We're talking about the fear of self-expression, also the need to start speaking up in this cancel culture. What do you want to chime in on?
Yeah. So I've worked primarily in, I started in data entry, and then I've worked in customer service. I kind of worked my way up from customer service into kind of individual contributor, process engineer, things of that nature. And I support a service industry now. So I've been working on the service side most of my life. And a lot of what you're taught is don't make waves, don't make enemies.
Be agreeable.
Be agreeable.
Are your bosses agreeable?
They can be when they want to be.
Are your bosses white men?
My current boss is an Indian man.
Okay. Are the bosses of the companies agreeable?
I think when it is going to impact the bottom line, they will agree to it.
Let me explain what I mean by agreeable. Jordan Peterson often talks about agreeableness in men and women. And black men have been cowered into agreeableness, to where we are physically men, but we move like women. And you don't tend to move up the corporate chain without being able to be a leader. When I worked in sales, I worked with some of the most dynamic personalities, but these guys were disagreeable SOBs, and they were madly successful. You know who the agreeable guys were? In customer service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So I understand where you're coming from. I do.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the books, the leadership books we read, they would talk about politics, and politics being saying things according to what people want to hear instead of what you really think. And
let me ask you a question. In 25 years, how many times have you moved up? How many promotions have you had?
I'd probably say 7 or 8 in 25 years.
All right. So my thing is this: black men, like it or not, you're going to have to risk it. When I worked in corporate America, if I chose to bring people who work with me, who knew me, they would say, I had the same personality. I have been this way. I've always spoken my mind. You'll either love me or you'll hate me, but you will know me. But you know what I noticed is the people who ran organizations shared that same kind of personality. And I think a big part of why we're so agreeable is because we have to be agreeable in our households with our women. We can't even disagree with our women.
Yeah.
Look at what's going on right now. We can't disagree with them without being destroyed.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that's, I know that's another show, but
it's this show too, because I don't expect them to change. I expect them to stay where doing. I expect them to do what they. My issue is the men who are on their side with this stuff. I'm not. That's the difference.
Yeah,
There's
honestly,
an uncoding of us, and we have to decide where we're going to get. Go ahead.
So honestly, Kevin, I agree with you 100%. I think that when I think about my progression career-wise, what caused me to stand out from the rest of the people in the call center, it wasn't just that, I had a knack for data analysis. It was that I was kind of brash and kind of raw and kind of had a rough edge to me. And I tell people all the time, every boss I've ever had has had to give me feedback on how I being too rough in emails or in face-to-face communication.
Okay. So I need to go ahead in about 20 seconds. I get someone else too.
But I had other brash people, white men in my organization who believed in me and saw that I could leverage that to my advantage to move ahead. So I had the support of white and black men that were similar to me that helped me to progress and use that brashness as a competitive advantage to gain and get what I wanted.
Okay, so you've been in corporate America for 25 years.
Yes, sir.
Is there, in what you do, are there any independent companies that are your competitors?
There are a lot of consultants that come in and do the same type of work that we do.
So when would you be willing to take that risk and become a consultant? And give it an example.
Yeah.
I worked in telecom.
Mm-hmm.
You worked in telecom. You had a base salary and had a commission program, but you only had certain products and certain things you could sell, certain price points. And if you needed to get a big deal done, you had constraints because that deal had to make financial sense to the company. What I saw, a lot of people, they would leave the company, form their own LLC, buy that same product or service in wholesale from the very company they used to work from, and go sell it to that very client that they could not sell to inside the company. And I'm like, that's how they do it. Okay, so you're basically saying the same thing. People are consultants. If you have the same knowledge base, what keeps us from being the consultants?
Yeah, completely agree. And honestly, your show has helped me I've always thought about that. And it's, a lot of it is having a financial stability because I got a baby and one on the way and a mortgage and things like that. And you don't want to put your family in. I gotta say
it, man. I gotta say it. That is what keeps us stuck. We want it to be perfect. Yes, you don't want to put your baby and that kind of stuff. I grant you don't. Right. But people do it, men do it around the world every day, and that's why they get the outcomes. We want safety.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're absolutely.
I see non-black men coming into corporate America and learning for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they are automatically programmed to quit, go hang their own shingle, become a consultant, and make 4 or 5 times the money. And black men, we're fighting over petty promotions and single-digit increases.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that so for me, part of what I'm looking at is I see corporate America for what it is, right? It's a machine that will be fed, and what I'm looking at now is what do I need to do to where I can stop feeding the machine and have the machine feed me.
Well, let me say this. I got to let you run.
Okay.
Here's the problem. You're a line on the balance sheet.
Right.
Eventually you'll cost the company too much money.
It's happened before. So yes.
Exactly. You'll cost the company too much money. They'll get rid of you, bring somebody in for pennies on the dollar, and you'll be older out there. And the situation you want to avoid will happen. We have to start thinking like owners and not employees. We have to stop this agreeableness, and we have to start this audaciousness. We have to start we got to start taking some risks. We have to. And this is why, most guys do it. The best chance to do it is when you're single with no kids, but you can't undo that. So let me get to somebody else to appreciate it.
Right. Thanks, Kevin.
If you have your hand up, I need to know why if you have your hand up, if you're in corporate America, I'm going to lower the hands. Who's in? Are all you guys in corporate America? I'm gonna come to this guy right here with the dreads, because I'm always curious to talk to brothers with dreads in corporate America. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Hello. How are you? Good. How old are you, by the way? So what's the fear? What's the issue in corporate America?
Well, I don't know if, well, I think it's a couple pieces to it. So first of all, I think for brothers who are coming out of the W-2 mindset or coming out of like the struggle, like the hood, to get into corporate America, there's a threshold, or excuse me, there's like a barrier, like a block that a lot of men can't get to from the jump. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, a lot of our people come from disadvantaged backgrounds. So people have to learn to retrain their thought process to start to demand better things for themselves. Because if they don't demand it of themselves, then they can never do it. Because what a lot of folks have seen, oh, absolutely. Well, I do my best. I don't like to toot my horn, but
are you? So are you still? What I'm trying to understand, are you still in corporate?
Am I in corporate America?
Mhm.
Correct. Yeah. I'm in.
What do you?
Yeah.
What field are you in?
Software. I'm a software developer.
Okay. How long have you been doing
Correct.
this? How long have you been doing this?
3.5 years. Yes, sir.
How long have you been in your career though?
Well, I mean, I've been a full-time paid software developer for going on 4 years.
Okay, so you're
If that answers-
35.
yeah. Correct.
So, did you go to college for this, or did you get certifications?
Well, it was both, actually, both. Just work.
What I'm
a lot of
trying to
work.
understand. What I'm trying to understand is if you went to college, did you leave college and start your career, or did you start late? Because at 35, my presumption is most people went the traditional route, meaning you should
Right.
probably have had about 12 years of experience, 10, 12 years of experience.
Right. And I wish I could say that was the case. But
Okay.
For me, it was a little bit rougher for me.
Okay, that's
be
cool.
honest.
But
Uh-huh.
so and honestly, that's going to count against you trying to move up the chain because you don't have the tenure.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not necessarily trying to move up the chain, and I don't think my tenure, if anything, would be the thing to disqualify me from moving up. I got into this field specifically to allow my gifts, I guess you could say, like my work ethic, to be the thing that speak for me, not
Are you planning on
necessarily.
owning your own business?
Correct. I already do. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good. So are you a contractor?
Correct. That's correct. I contract, and then I got a couple of things.
I thought you said you worked in corporate America, meaning that was part of the corporate structure.
Well, I do. It's both. So I'm a full-time W-2, but I also have, an LLC and a couple of side businesses as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm trying to talk to people who are actually 100% dependent upon corporate America. Okay. A little bit different. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because that's a different dynamic. If you came straight out of school, straight into corporate America, we know how to work for people, but what we don't know is typically how to get out and start making our own moves. When I did that show, The Lion's Den, with Ramil Amir, one of the things that's tend to stand out is we have a desire to do things and a dream, but it's like, all right, how do we get from point A to point B? There's a knowledge gap. Let me see. So let's do this I want to see what's going on here. Jesus Christ, there are too many. I can't get to all. There are too many men in here. I would not be able to get to even the third of you guys. So what we're going to do is start removing some folks from the chat room, because if your camera's not on, you're just taking a space. I'm going to lower some hands to Okay, so I also want to ask a question. Who is in corporate America and who's struggling to actually not get out, but just middling? You're just there. I'm going to lower hands. I'm going to lower all the hands and I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to lower hands and ask a question. only respond after I finish the question. I want to see you raise your hand if you are working in corporate America 100%, no side businesses, 100%, not W-2, not contracted. You working for Acme Incorporated, and you're just kind of middling. You're there. You got a job, you're making money, but you're not really on a career path, meaning you're going to be in vice president or something inside of 10 years. Raise your hand. All right. Let's do this. Okay, Josh, go ahead and unmute yourself. How are you? So hold on. How old are you? 30. And what do you do for a living?
5 years.
What kind of sales?
Got promoted twice.
What kind of sales are you in?
Telecommunications.
Okay.
Telecommunications.
Do you work like at a retail store or something?
In management, I did B2B sales. I did business to business sales for about 5 months prior to that.
So your story is?
So again, getting out of that corporate mindset, like one of your previous callers said, it's a grind, right? Like just getting stuck in the comfort zone, because once you start to crack 6 figures, it's like, how do you transition out, right? And I think a lot of it is a lack of confidence and a fear, because as Black men, there's so much pressure for you to succeed. You know, we hear about it all the time.
Do you have a wife? Do you have a? Are you?
Yes,
married?
I'm married.
Okay. And here's the thing. There's pressure, granted. But could you do what you do for yourself with the company you work for? Can be a consultant? Because salespeople are the first people that can go into consulting. People that can go into consulting more than anything else. IT and salespeople. Is there? If you were to start your own business, could it be in consulting and sales and doing what you're doing?
In some form or fashion.
Okay. Because, like I was saying to the other caller, I get it. But there is no comfortable transition. And there are no 60-year-old salespeople carrying a quota, right? Hello?
Right.
So,
no, right. I'm listening.
No,
right.
But it's a dialogue. So at 30 years old, all things being equal, if you don't move up the ladder, what does it look like?
Right.
You're not
right.
in your head.
I mean, honestly, yeah. So my whole thinking is I've been doing sales since. I've been doing sales since I was 16. So I just turned 30. So that's 14 years of me selling in some form or fashion. We all are in sales, you know, because sales is just telling the truth attractively. So I always felt like sales is really where you got the highest earning potential. But as far as business,
right.
I mean,
right. But again, if this was a sitting down with a career eval, you're successful now. Is this a job that you do until retirement?
Not ideally. I mean, I could get a 401k, but let's be honest, like that's not going to be
you can get a
the
401k.
lifestyle.
What?
Yeah. Or if you invest in, you know, as far as crypto and things like that, which I do.
No. I'm asking the job you do.
Right. Yes. So you're asking me if I could retire from this job? And
No. I mean, what I mean is this something you do until retirement age, 65?
Nah, no.
No, that's what I mean. So the fear you're talking about, that's the fear. Mm-hmm. I come from sales. It's a young man's game. And you either age out or you cap out. And once if you age out at 45 or 40, people don't hire old salespeople.
Right.
So now what? You make 6 figures now, right?
Right.
And you can only do this for the next 10 years or so, conceivably. You cap out or you age out. then if you cap out or age out at 40, what's going to happen the next 25 years?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
This is where the fear comes. This is where we need to get better as black men. We just work. We just work and make our money. We don't put together a plan. Case in point, a lot of people on YouTube may not like me. That's fine. But what people cannot say is I don't work and that I have not become an expert at my craft. I study these platforms and algorithms and how to make this stuff work. This is where we lose to our competition because we're making enough money, but the runway is running out on us. You see it. What's the next step?
it's got to be entrepreneurship. It's got to be owning your own business or doing something that's going to create multiple streams of income. And because at the end of the day, like you said, a lot of my colleagues have evolved out of corporate America. They've been in a position.
Well, that's going to require risk, my friend. That's going to require risk. That's going to require tapping into your savings. That's going to require risk because if you don't do it now, if you wait till you're 40, you'll be 10 years behind. That's what I'm saying. You sound like many brothers, comfortable.
But it's like, we're not allowed to fail, Kevin. Like, you know,
who said we're not allowed to fail? Who says we're not allowed to fail?
As black men.
No. I'm gonna challenge
again,
that.
like,
No. I'm gonna challenge that bullshit. Who says we're not allowed to fail?
It's like when we do, because it's like we already, like you said, it's a tight rope. You know what I mean? Especially in corporate America, right? But it's like,
who says you're not allowed to fail?
I mean, I understand. I mean, I'm just saying in general, right? Like, I'm not trying to say specifically, but of course, failure is necessary for success. But I mean, like the pressure you deal with as a black man, and I'm sure you can relate, like, it's like immense. So it's like, if you fail and have to start over, it's like you're shunned, you know what I mean? And
no,
you know, it's like
no, listen. This may sting a little bit. I don't think like that. I don't care if I fail. Who shuns me? I know who I care about, and those are the only people I care about. I don't care what people who I don't know think. Take it away from Black America, okay? Take it away from me or you. Do you think Donald Trump gave one absolute fuck about what his critics thought?
Right. You're 100% right.
We care too much about what people who don't matter think. But here's the problem. If you stay on this path, you will fail. It runs out. Stay on a path that's running into a wall or a cliff. You go over the cliff. If you don't move, you go over. It's just a matter of time. And if you're mentally stuck in your mind because you're afraid to fail because you'll be shunned by who? Would your wife not support? You said you're married. Is it you feel? Would your wife not support it?
I mean, she's a registered nurse, so you know.
I don't know what that means. Would she support you?
She supports me. Yeah, she supports me.
Would she support you taking chances and risks? Because that's what marriage is supposed to do: free you up to take chances and risks.
Right.
So is it?
Yeah, she would.
So are you afraid? I mean, so I'm challenging you. You say black men, we're not allowed. I say that's the stigma. We feel like we're not allowed. But I'm a black man and I failed many times. But I've succeeded more. I succeed because I fail. People talk about my failures. You think I give a damn? Because they don't want to deal with your success. And that's my challenge to black men, to stop this. Well, if I try and fail, then I'm shunned. I don't want to hear that shit from black men. I want to hear I tried and this happened. You look on your left hand or your right hand. I don't see an infinity gauntlet. You cannot predict the future. And this is where everybody else has us because they are willing to go take a risk. Try it. Now, I'm going to challenge you on this. Is it that you're afraid to fail or is it you don't really know what you would do out here if you didn't do what you were doing now?
I know exactly what I would do.
What would you do?
I know exactly what I would do. I just moved to Atlanta, so like, you know, my whole focus is actually fashion. So I'm actually in design school, like part-time, right? So after I work on 2 days a week, I'm in design school because I'm working toward that. But it's just like, that's a super competitive industry. And my experience is in corporate America. So I'm gonna have to transition into that world.
Design school
where I
meaning
know
to become a designer?
Well,
A clothing
I'm going to
designer?
design school because I went on my own business.
What kind
Correct,
of business?
correct.
Clothing?
So yes.
You want to make
And I'm
men's?
open to,
Okay, hold on.
yes, menswear.
You want to make men's clothing or women's clothing?
I'm learning both, but I want to do menswear, you know,
Okay.
because I love clothes. I've been loving
See,
clothes.
let me say
since
this to
day-
everybody else. Black men, we got to stop being so broad. We have to niche down. There's riches in niches. We want to be everything because we think if I just keep it broad. No, you have to be specific. Like the questions I'm asking you are specific. We got to get specific,
Right.
laser focus. Because if you're going to design school, you got to know that that is an incredibly competitive, high failure business with not a lot of ROI. If you're selling to men just simply, men don't, it's far easier to sell designer clothing to women than it is to men. Men spend 27 cents out of every dollar in this economy. This is why, you know, it may be a passion of yours. You may like it, but I like a lot of things that I couldn't make any money at.
Right.
If you're in sales, consulting would make far more sense than far more practical sense to make reproducible income. But I got to move on to the next person.
Appreciate it, bro.
See, a lot of times we'll do this thing where it's like, you know, well, we get shunned to fail. I know, I get it, but then fail anyway. Go fail anyway, Marcus. Hello. How are you, my friend? Thank you. How old are you? Are you in corporate America right now and you're just kind of treading water? Huh? Okay. But so 15 years and are you just, like I said, kind of just treading water, you just doing the job?
I just came with. I'm with a smaller company. I was with a major for 10 years in Houston.
Okay.
But I have good upside. I wouldn't say in the C-suite, but definitely a leadership role. Not saying that I would want to. It's not my dream. But I definitely have a chance to move
is
up.
it independent or privately held?
No, it's a corporate. It's I would say it's just a small corporation.
See, that business, oil and gas, is littered with privately held, independent people who service majors and mid-size.
Right. We do the production and drilling, so we're kind of like you would
Are you
say a
down,
major.
so you're downhole?
No, we do upstream and downstream.
Okay.
Oh, well, actually upstream we do the drilling, and
Okay.
we also do the completion, production, and all.
So
that.
are you?
I'm on the
Yeah.
engineering side.
Yeah. I get. Yeah. Similar language. So, do you foresee yourself doing this until retirement?
No, not in this industry. Nah, the type of work I do, I know that it would drive what I really want to do, which is a lot of manufacturing. I do automation, so I know how to do the controls, and I know how to do all the devices and.
Is that something you could do as
programming.
an independent consultant?
I could, yeah, absolutely.
Would that not free you up to make the most money?
It will. It would. Recently, I'm going through a divorce.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
hey man, hey, trust me, brother. You want to swap war stories and divorces is some of the best time to just
And to tell you the truth, like you say, it was the ultimate failure that gave me the ultimate confidence.
Yep.
You know, it made me
That's why I
understand a
laugh when people
whole
try
lot
to
more.
talk about you this, you that, motherfucker. I know what I've been. You can't say
Right.
nothing about me, bro. If you're going through a divorce, that's like a global reset. And if you're in Houston in the energy economy, there's so much money to be made in the energy economy as a consultant or even a private small, because and there's still a certain amount of contracts that have to go to minority bid.
Right, right. I know all about this.
Yeah. So yeah. That's a positive problem. That's a positive
Yeah.
problem, because at least you actually have alternatives, different ways you want to go. And now the divorce do you have any children?
3 of
Uh-oh.
them. So
Yeah. Motivation.
absolutely.
But it could arguably give you the latitude, because now that you're divorced, you won't be nearly as busy as you were when you were working dad. And arguably owning your own thing gives you the potential to have legacy to pass on to your kids. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was wondering one thing for you about you. Do
Mhm.
you think, and I heard in one of your shows where you told the woman to be able to give the children to the father.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if my ex would be completely giving me over the total custody, but I would like for her to be able to be happy and move on. Do you think that me setting up myself to take care of my
I
children
mean,
might be
you got boys or girls?
that might slow me down? I have
Yeah.
two girls and one boy. Do you think that might slow me down?
It's gonna change you. Yes, 3 children was gonna damn sure change you. How old is your boy?
My boy is 7.
Mm.
My oldest girl is 8. We good. We got me and my ex. We have a pretty
Are
good
you
relationship.
are you guys sharing joint custody?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we share everything. We split the bills down. It hasn't
Man, I
finalized
don't know.
everything.
That's a tricky one, man, because 2 girls and a boy. If you guys got joint, I sometimes I think leaving well enough alone, because you don't want to split the kids.
That's another
So
thing.
it's either 3 or none. And yeah,
I'm cool with all 3 of them.
Yeah,
And I would
I'm gonna
want
just
her.
say
I would want
leave
them
well
all to
enough
be happy.
alone, man. I'm gonna leave well enough alone in that situation. Leave well enough alone and start up your LLC. Start doing some consulting work. And the funny thing is, if you were making 3 times the amount of money you're making, your options would be different. And there's only one way to get that, and that's the work. Appreciate it, fam. Yeah, if you got a good situation, leave that. I'm not gonna, no, not gonna be. Guys, I can't get to everybody, but I'm gonna try to get to. There's a woman here. I want to hear from her too. When she bounced off. I know, man. In corporate America, guys feel like you're stuck. Just a second. Everybody just popped in. Man. People ask me how often I have guys on the show. When I open it up for men, there's like a floodgate. There's like 50 people in here. I can't get to everybody. But I will say this. I need to say this, that whatever you're doing in the Zoom call or in the chat room, I just got a question for you. Guys, whatever you're doing for somebody at your corporate level, ask yourself a question. Is there somebody, are there independent local businesses, regional business, smaller businesses doing the same or similar thing for the same market? Because one of the biggest things is we didn't get taught how to think like owners. And in corporate America, it's those salespeople, those consultants, those kind of folks that tend to have a little bit more disagreeable streak, which tend to think more like entrepreneurs. Ultimately, what I'm saying is this. we have to get to the point to where you're taking risks. The safe path is not necessarily the best path. I know it sounds counterintuitive. This is why the younger you can do it, like if you're under 35, no kids, man, you should be out failing left and right. Massive failure, bankruptcy, talking about, yes, that level of failure. Not $1,000 or $2,000. Go study guys who have been successful, and you will see they have divorces, bankruptcies, repossessions. They got all kind of craziness. But that's part of the mythos of going from here to there. Think about it. In the middle class, there is no path to becoming independent, to becoming rich or wealthy. There is no path. You're either here or you're there. You have to be willing to jump out of the comfort zone here, jump into the fire, take risks, and fail. Because when you decide to take risks, people are going to tell you you're nuts. What? You're going to leave your 6-figure job to go start up a what industry? But you never get anywhere without failure. And I'm going to lower some hands, and I'm going to ask this one question. I'm going to see if I can get in a couple of more people. What I want to see is, I'm going to lower some hands. I think I had a big issue with our community. Hold on. Big question. Okay. Somebody said something about the community with these boys being raised by women. Yes, but I really don't want to go down that path because it will derail us. What I would say to the men is, hopefully you have somebody who is an organic mentor in your life. But what I often tell guys is this: you really want to learn how to think broader, hire a coach. Hire a coach and take $5,000 and get taught a different perspective. The top performers tend to have coaches. And it's not as though we don't have the same intellectual capabilities. I mean, the fact that we are still here as a people with all the stuff that we've had shows what we're capable of. But it's that fear of taking a risk. You know what? I just had an idea. I talked about the internship. That's what I'm going to do. People are often asking me to bring men onto the program. Start bringing on men who I know, who are established entrepreneurs and business owners, who are highly successful. Ike, give me a holler. Anton, give me a holler. B, if you hear me, give me a holler. Erica, I also want to hear from you. Folks, yes, that's what we're going to do. Change the narrative. Change the narrative by showing what's possible. Because the one-on-one conversations we're having, they can only do so much. But seeing people who are in ownership positions, thinking in a different way, and then seeing people who are in process, that's invaluable knowledge. Let's say ABJ, we'll get to this next person. Okay, that's a photograph. I'm going to take one more. We'll lower hands real quick. And I'm going to lower hands and I'm going to ask this question. Don't answer yet. Raise your hand if you're starting out in your career and you're in your career under 5 years in corporate America. All right. James, good to you. Unmute yourself, James. And then Shields. Hello, how are you? What do you do? I'm good. How old are you? What do you do for a living?
Just graduated 2 years ago.
Okay. And are you working for a large concern?
Yeah, there was this Chinese company that came to England and they started up a business, Davenport. So now we are doing kind of container transport.
Okay.
So I'm the one that.
How long
does
have you been
the
working for
whole
that company?
computing system. Just 2 years.
Okay. So is this your first job out of college?
Yeah, but the thing is, I've invited a lot of my friends to invest in Bitcoin, but they didn't. So now I'm
Okay. I
trying
want
to
to
pay
I want to
off
ask you.
my.
No, I want to ask you some questions.
God.
What made you decide to work for this company?
I mean, I was an intern. I remember because at my
Okay.
last year in college, they were the kind of people that I went to do my internship there. So there was this guy that we got really close to. And he said he really liked me because, I was passionate about what I was doing. So he
Okay.
said I should
So
come work for him.
you went to work because you interned there and you got a job offer with them afterwards.
Yeah,
Let
exactly.
me ask you.
Because,
Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
Did you interview with any other companies?
I did, but it landed in
Seriously?
here because yes, I did. But to be honest, I have already made up my mind that I was gonna work for this company. To be honest, I've done some other
Okay.
interviews, but I've already
Okay.
made up my mind.
All right. So one-itis.
Yeah.
What's your career? Okay. You've had your mind made up. Now I'm going to challenge you on some things.
Yeah.
What is your career path with them for the first 5 years? Where are you projected to be?
First of all, I'm focused on paying my student loan. Because I've already.
Nope. I asked a specific question.
Okay. I think I'll see me probably going back because I was born and raised in South Africa. So I've already planned with my dad to start a business in South
Where are
Africa.
you
But that's
projected to be
different.
in 5 years with this company?
I
You
really don't know, Kevin.
You don't have a projection.
Yeah, to be honest,
Okay,
I
so
really don't.
so what I need you to do is listen.
Okay.
You're a young guy. You've been with one company with an internship. You really didn't interview with anybody else because you fell in love. And she's the one. And she's the one, and you don't have any idea why you're there. It's just because you love her. That's not how we build careers. You need to, just like they're getting something from you, you're giving them your 5 first years of active exuberance and everything else. And the least they could do is tell you in 5 years you can expect to be here. See, that's what you should have learned if you interviewed with other companies and vetted the offers. Because even though you love them, these other companies may have offered you, hey, well, if you're with us for X amount of years, we may send you back to school to get an MBA or consortium, or we can fast track you to management. But you're coming in and talking about Bitcoin and all these other things, and you haven't even mastered. Let me say this unequivocally, young men. Y'all need to stop all these thinking you're going to be serial entrepreneurs and become millionaires by 30. That's not how the world works. You need to become a master of your craft.
True.
There is no such thing as free fucking money.
True.
And just because you guys have the internet and smartphones and Bitcoin and social media, there's not a way to get money. How many women are on OnlyFans right now because they heard women are on OnlyFans thinking they're going to just be getting $10,000 a day and can't even get enough money to buy Coca-Cola? You're 24. Plan. If you're with this company, internship, great. I would sit down with my manager and say, where can I expect to be in 5 years? Someone needs to be working with you with a career plan. Because at 5 years, if you don't pay attention, this is what I wanted to tell you guys in the Zoom room. If you guys just go to work and get a paycheck and your eye is outside everywhere else, you're going to fuck around and be working for your coworker. They're going to promote your coworker who looks like them over you. Because they're coming in, they're being given advice by their uncles and their fathers. Hey, you need to have a plan. You need to go in and start asking for something from this company. Did you negotiate your starting salary?
No, to be honest, I didn't.
God damn it.
I mean, Kevin, the truth is there isn't any role models. I mean, all the black guys.
I know. I'm just saying,
music.
God damn it. I know. I didn't say you were wrong. I just said, God damn it. So now you know. We negotiate everything. Look, bro, you are a talented young man. And you should have been able to take your ability on the open market and give it to the highest bidder for the best deal. If you were the number 1 draft pick, would you go to the first team you visited, or would you listen to all the best offers? That's how we need to start thinking as black men. And that's what we need to start thinking. I'm seeing brothers in there smile because we've been taught to just be happy with what we got. Fuck that. Demand more. Negotiate everything. The job pays $36,000 a year. Well, that's great. It may pay 36, but I'm going to need 42. Career evals, right? Thank you. Career evals. This is what happens when you hire a coach, and the coach can tell you, hey, man, you need to start looking at this or looking at that. What are the top performers in your industry? What are they doing? What are the top players doing what you're doing? If I were working in corporate America right now, I would find the Ikes of the world and I would camp out in his office. I'd be picking his brain. Hey, man, I'd love to buy you lunch. I just love to, I best practices, gentlemen. Go and always try to figure out what the best of the best are doing and copy it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Copy. Then improvise. Always have your eye on your boss's boss, your boss's job. Your job is to get your boss promoted and then take his job. That's how this thing works. And your ultimate goal is to get free of the corporate system. And if at all possible, start your own small concern as a consultant and make more money and have the control. Whether that's in corporate America or whether that's being a landscaper. Why is this important? Because the first thing, in order to reclaim our image, we got to reclaim our voice. And it's going to be relied on men like you and me, raised by single mothers, like everybody else. We're not perfect. Everybody got issues. But we have to risk. And guys, trust me, I've failed a lot in life, but I've also had a lot of success. And it's when you are successful, it is worth it. No one could tell me that we're not, I'll take that back. When you're down bad and you have the ability to get it out of the mud, it's just a matter of time. I'm gonna just tell you, I know men who are like that. When you are down bad, bet against men like yourselves who are down bad and who have the ability to do the work and take the risk. You never bet against a man like that. That's why I say ultimately I respect work, because I know the work is the variable. The work. And when you do the work, you will end up having the confidence to go in and ask for what you are worth. So I appreciate everybody joining on. I know this is a little bit of a different broadcast. I think I know what I'm going to do going forward with men. Gentlemen, I don't begrudge Maxine Waters talking to Megan Thee Stallion, telling her about the audacity of WAP. Nope, I don't do that. I would say this. We need to have the audacity. She said reclaim our time, reclaim our image. Reclaim our image by reclaiming our voice. No one's going to give it to us. They shouldn't. What scares you? What scares you, guys? What do you fear? What consumes your thoughts controls your life. If you are afraid to make a mistake or afraid to fail, you're already handicapped. And I'm not just telling you something I don't know. I have lived it. I have failed. And anybody who's failed before, who's successful, will tell you they are where they are because of their failures, not in spite of. Failure is a part of success. It is a part of the process. And we have sold people that it's supposed to be all upside, sunshines and daffodils. No, it's broken eggs. It's broken. It's being broke. It's having to take shit to the pawn shop to get gas to drive to an interview. It's eating ramen noodles because you ain't got nothing but ramen noodle money even after college. It's even after you're up here, you take everything and you risk it and you lose it all, and you got to live in your car and start all over again with your college degree. And everybody like, well, wait a minute, don't you had this job over here before that, and how you live in your car and you ain't worried about that shit. because you go do what you have to do, wash up in the local bathroom, whatever, and you go out to the world and you still talk like you own the world because you are just here right now. This is a pit stop, not a destination. You have to know that about yourself. Let people laugh, let people judge, let people point. You keep on moving. Because when you get where you're supposed to go to, you'll be amazed. Everybody, oh, I knew you could make it. I knew you could do it. Hey, man, now you should do this. Now you should do that. No, you owe yourself when you get there. And you owe it to pass it to somebody else who has the eye of the tiger, that look in their eye. They need to hear from you. I was down there just like you. I was down bad. I was over here. But you can do it too. Here's a little boost. That's what Maxine did to Megan. That's what we got to start doing to each other. That's getting on code. That productive, competitive, successful man, that high value man, you don't start that way. 83% of all millionaires are first generation. Ain't nobody born into this. If you're born in a black community, like us, most of us were born without a dad, and we were just surviving. There was no plan. We weren't born as a result of a mother and a father and a loving relationship, and they were trying to conceive. They had a good night. They had a good night and some liquor. And there we are. No shade, but that's truth. Stop feeling guilty about not having your daddy. Stop feeling guilty about, stop letting people make you feel guilty about who the fuck you are. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm better every day. I'm better every day. And somewhere in your house, on the back of your Casio watch, stencil, get to work. Get to work, show your work. Tattoo it on your forehead, on your eyelids, something, because that is the difference. The men who get to work and show their work are the men who tend to have the outcomes. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is a little bit different. But I believe this program tonight is going to change some lives. This program tonight is going to be something that me and young and old are going to go back and revisit, and they're going to take something from it. Just like this book right here, The 48 Laws of Power. You see how tattered it is? Not to be sacrilegious, but this is like a Bible to me. Every season, every 3 months I read this, I get something different out of it. Guys, woo! An unleashed black man is a fucking problem. An unleashed black man is a fucking problem. And I hope you get there. The only thing holding you back is your fear, your scarcity, your fear that you will fail and disappoint that person or that person's going to say something. The person you should be afraid to disappoint is staring in the mirror. You should be more afraid of disappointing you. We're all given certain gifts, certain potentials. Maximize those to your ability. Get rid of the things that you can't get good at. And this reminds me, shout out to my buddy Jeff. This month I'm going to actually release one of the things that actually helped free my mind up. It's a self-awareness assessment. And in 15 minutes of taking this assessment, I learned and understood more about me and how I think, how my mind works, than Myers-Briggs, than multiple personality exams. You are who you are, gentlemen. And learning who you are and owning that. That's why study guys who are drilling down on their strengths, what they are. So I hope this is a good broadcast. This week may be a little off as far as the scheduling. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tomorrow I'll be on Instagram. Just pay attention to my community tab. And this was good. This was good. I like this. We needed that. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies. Sometimes the men just need to kind of have a little powwow. You know, it's all good. Watching how men get down should help inspire you to actually want to be feminine, beautiful, and inspirational for one of them. Until the next time, you know how we do it. Peace. We are gone.
In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right.
Shout out to King Ike.
It's not hard to fool me. No, 'cause I'm addicted to the good life.
Shout out to Jonathan Barronville. Appreciate it, my brother. Thank you for your support.
No need to say
Pay it forward.
where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it all.
I'm a PhD.
So tell your good lies, 'cause I'll find no better one.
Yes, God is real.
Susceptible now, before the moment flies. Ooh, so tell your good lies, 'cause I'll find a better one. Ooh, susceptible now, before the moment flies. It's not a problem, no, 'cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah. Nothing can stop me.